father choice. Those of us don't know the one you cowards dare decorate. This world is wrong to be. Let me make something with you. Your words have no bearing over me or father. Because my mind was no reservation thought days. So let's just stay the fuck away. Say it with me. Say it with me. Scream it with me.
Welcome to the O.W.P. This is our wrestling podcast. This is Dave along with Jess.
Well, fuck you, Dave. Hi.
All right, and Cuz.
Yo.
Bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside stories, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. And now on to our topic today, WrestleMania 20. Hit us up on Instagram at OWP2019. Click on Linktree. You can find us on several platforms, including Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast. And anything that we talk about is inspired by the WWE Network. So do yourself a favor and get your free month today to watch anything WWE, WCW, ECW, and more. Guys, it is still WrestleMania season.
Hey.
I'd like to say on behalf of the O.W.P, we wish Craig Bates well in his future endeavors.
No. Hey. Yes.
Stay tuned
He'll
for
be
next week.
back.
Craig is
The
gone.
O.W.P.
Good
legacy
riddance.
of Craig Bates.
Fuck you, Craig. He's done.
Next week.
Wait, what? He's coming back?
No, I said
shit.
next week we're going to have to run the O.W.P. legacy of Craig Bates.
Oh,
2021.
I thought he was gone. I jumped the gun. What I meant was, I missed you, buddy. Hope you're coming
You're
back.
I miss
the
you there, bud.
best.
No, Craig is just really busy with work. So nothing's
Yeah.
wrong with him. He's in good health. Everything's fine.
He'll be back.
He just has a lot of work on his plate. But
No, he quit.
no, he fucking quit. Fuck him. But look at us, huh? Look at three of us. huh?
It's the classic,
original,
right? It's the three
uh,
amigos back at work.
It's
again.
Hogan, Hall, and Nash right here.
I'm pretty sure I'm hauling this equation.
Or a bitch. One of the two. I don't know.
There you go.
Well,
I know
just
the three of
I didn't know
us.
that was
The
part of
three
those three amigos.
guys that started OWP. Look at us. Has it been 2 years? I don't fucking know anymore.
we're coming up on 2 years in March.
We're coming up on
Yeah.
2 years in March. I knew that.
Good
I knew that.
gravy. What were we thinking?
I don't know, man.
Apparently
I'll tell
doing
you.
good.
You've been
WrestleMania
a piece of
20
shit all the way through. I have to say.
I'm gonna do my best to set the stage. Craig. I'm sorry, Craig.
Yeah,
we're talking about Craig
right.
Wilson. Jess will give us
Huh?
the WCW layout at the time.
No.
which is none. But what I'll tell you is we are back because this is where it all starts again. Madison Square Garden, New York City, 20,000 people. I'm sorry, where it all begins again.
There's
We have
20,000 on the
JR
dot.
and King announcing for the Raw side. We have Cole and Taz announcing for the SmackDown side. We do have a brand split at this time. We have the Fink announcing and whoever the fuck the SmackDown.
What was the date again? Sorry, I missed it.
2004. The exact date is eluding me. What do you got?
2004.
2004 is the year of WrestleMania 20.
Nice.
Yep. So we open up to America the Beautiful, as always, which is sang by a beautiful chorus. And it shows the armed services all around the world because Vince is in love with the armed services.
I love them.
Yes.
I love armed forces.
And then we get the VKM mantra of WrestleMania, where it all starts at Madison Square Garden. Every major wrestler of that time is coming talking about WrestleMania and why it's so important. And we get a stupid picture at the end of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Shane, and Shane's son saying,
How dare you?
"Thanks to the next generation. Go fuck
dare you.
yourself." I've not seen that child do anything with wrestling since.
I haven't seen
So-
Shane do anything except
Oh,
on screen.
whoa!
He's not taking the
done
company
some
over.
stuff. I don't know, but yeah.
No, I put opening was really good stuff. I loved this opening, especially when Vince walked out in the beginning and you just hear
It's
his, like,
well
his
done.
heels clicking on the floor, and then he's like, like with a black background. He didn't laugh. But,
Yeah.
in my mind, he did.
And then I felt like he gave me the real for once because it was 20 years of WrestleMania.
It was cool, yeah, and it was everybody thing. There was one person missing, which was ridiculous that he was missing, but whatever. They've never gotten along when it's important. So at the very end, yes, it was kind of cool to see like Vince, Shane, and his son. You would think that meant Shane was going to take over, but Stephanie and Triple H were, so it doesn't matter. It's
right. Match number one.
Jonathan Cena challenged the Big Show for the United States Championship here. Big Show reigning champion. He would lose to John Cena here. 9 minutes, 14 seconds. Here are my notes. Remember when Cena was cheered? That's my second note.
I saw it here.
My second note was nothing special,
good.
not a special match, but it did elevate Cena to the next level. It was the first singles title that John Cena won here. Huge pop for Cena winning. I give the match a thumbs in the middle towards up. Not because the match was just what it was. It wasn't a great match, but it was designed to get Cena over. It did its job. If somebody gave it a thumbs up, I wouldn't complain. But it was a good opener, and when Cena put him up for the F5 for that one spot, that was pretty awesome. And then he had to cheat with the chain, right? Yeah, it was a chain that he hit the Big Show with or whatever, and then he hoisted him up again, and that was awesome. Like the place went crazy for it. John
Off the skull of Big Show! The hell? The referee never saw it! No! Look at Cena! Second FU! My God! Cena! The cover! United States champion!
Here's your winner and the new WWE United States champion, John Cena!
John Cena has done the impossible!
John Cena was over as fuck here.
Close.
I loved his
Close
U.S.
on
title
those
run,
notes.
by the way. What?
Yeah, you're throwing a few details off, but still, you're getting the meat and potatoes of it. Go ahead, Cuz.
I was just gonna say I can't even. It surprises me when I actually hear when Cena actually got genuine like cheers from the fans.
Aren't you waiting for the booze like at the end?
Like, oh my God, it's Cena.
And then it's crazy to think that 2 years from there, because One Night Stand, and even before the One Night Stand pay-per-view, that's when he started getting his booze. He's been so polarizing over the years. I just forget the time from when he went to getting cheers to converting over to the person he was.
Yeah,
in the mid 2000s when everyone was booing. I give it thumbs in the middle towards like just a thumbs up. I feel like if it wasn't a WrestleMania, like if it was Backlash, I'd probably go middle, maybe towards thumbs down.
Whoa!
But no, I mean it did what it should do for an opener, and like I said, that atmosphere of WrestleMania piece, it gives it more, more positivity to it.
So
Dave, what the fuck did you give it?
It's funny because I look at it. I feel like I look at things differently sometimes from the rest of you, but. First thing I say, the Cena chants are absolutely fire when he first comes out. Like the crowd is into it, and then Cena puts on his rap, and his rap against Show is it just tears him down so hard before Big Show even comes out. My first concern is when I see Big Show come out, I'm like, oh man, he's wrecked already. He's wrecked already. But then I see things like where Cena tries to go up and put a crossbody, Show catches him and power slams him. I'm like, I forgot that this was the Paul Heyman era. This is when he put Show to work and said, do things the right way. You don't have to do them all the time. You don't have to put on drop kicks, but you can catch somebody in the air and power slam him and put on a show, Big Show.
And he was a mean, thick looking fuck.
I had a weird note.
He was bloated.
He was big here, and he still had most of his hair too.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you guys saw in the background where they placed the wrestlers, side by side, kind of what you see behind me on the hard cam. All these security people are out there, and you can see throughout this first match, I can see Vince in my mind yelling at people on his mic, "Get those guys off the hard cam!"
Well, no, it's stupid because because that's the entranceway, the screen. But when people would get up and shit, like to go to the bathroom and shit, like security would run over there real quick and be like, "Sit the fuck down, get the fuck out of it," because they knew the hard camera would hit there. And I'm like, well, why the fuck would you do that? Like, arrange the arena different.
It was weird.
People got pissed. They fucking paid for their tickets. You can't yell at them when they have to get up and go
exactly.
pee.
Yeah,
there was one guy that I saw that was
but it would create more security that created the bigger problem.
Yeah, There was one guy that came back, and I remember
weird.
he was standing. The guy was standing in the back, and you could tell he was just looking for his row. And then security's all like running behind him, going, "You got to sit the fuck down. You got to go."
Because
and I'm
Vince
like,
was a
what
total
the fuck?
mind
Like,
control agent at this point.
why would you put the hard camera like that? There it was so
yeah,
weird.
it was
like,
weird. It was
one guy
really
to blame
weird
on that one.
Yeah. So the rest of my notes in here, like the big man moves to me are so simple for Big Show, totally entertaining.
Effective.
Then Cena gives an FU to Big Show, which
Fuck you.
the power that takes, and he holds him for a while. So it's not that Big Show had to jump for him or anything. It wasn't like an Andre Slam from Hogan. Like straight up, he put Big Show into an FU after holding him, and Big Show kicks out. That's number one. And you're like, what? And then Cena being he's a heel, but he's not a heel. He's a heel that's slowly coming over. He's naturally getting over at this point. He hits him. He tries to use the chain, to my knowledge, and the ref takes that away. And when he takes away and throws it, then Cena gets his knucks out, and then hits
there we
Big
go.
Show.
I knew there was the chain came involved.
Yeah, so the chain was in there, but it was a distraction. They hit Show with the knucks, so it protects Show, even though Cena gives him a second FU and pins him on the opening match of WrestleMania, which in my mind, and Cuz is going to have a whiz. I'm pretty sure he was wearing Kurt Angle's trunks from 1985.
No, he's saying goodnight to his wifey.
Saying good night, sweetie. But for me, this is a thumbs up all day long. I was thoroughly enjoying this match.
The match was very fun.
But I know you weren't going to give me too much crap on a thumbs up. It gave me the thumbs up because I keep thinking of the Heyman model here and what he did for Show at this time. And it was entertaining. Not too many big men can open a match like that and make people lose their mind. And they did that. So I give it a thumbs up. So,
well, you know what? Hey, that's respectable.
Yeah. All right. You ready for the in-between shit? Apparently, the coach is talking with Teddy Long after this match. And they're like, hey, baby, I'll see you later, baby, kind of thing. And then Bischoff kind of rolls in and says, I heard that the Undertaker is here. And he tells Coach, you need to go find the Undertaker, essentially to recruit him because it's SmackDown versus Raw.
He's on SmackDown.
Right?
And then I would have been, hey, Bischoff, I heard that they've been advertising Undertaker versus Kane for fucking months. So, of course, he's here. Like, fuck. Like,
I heard something.
I heard that match was advertised. So, yes, you are correct. The Undertaker's probably here.
And
but I'm not supposed to know that, Coach.
And then we get into the Randy Orton Batista Flair segment.
First of all, I goddamn love this fucking promo.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love it to a point. And I'll tell you why.
Check out this prima donna.
Yeah. There's only one thing that I have a problem with, and I think you'll agree with me when I explain it. So Orton lays out the entire 3 months of leading up to this match that we're talking about.
Great storytelling.
Where he says, it's just evolution. I'm like, oh, it's so great. So perfect. But then he keeps repeating the WrestleMania mantra, where it all begins again. I'm like, all right, you don't have to fucking sell me, bro. You can just tell me your story and I'm good. I'm watching.
You know what's worth noting is those punches to McFoley's head.
Yeah, no, I get all that. Like all the segments and the cutaways are great. The way Randy was bringing it up, and they would switch. I'm at the stairs where I threw McFoley down the stairs. So good. I just you don't have to give me the WrestleMania theme. He's
green. Come on.
And he gave it to you twice. No, he's green. They did that because they told him to do it, and he said okay. Where he should have said no, that's stupid. But he was young. That's the only beef I have with the promo. The promo's
to calm your chi-chis right now.
Hold on.
They were in suits, which was nice.
They
were
looked
right
great.
by the staircase, which was awesome. It was different. They were all.
They weren't the Four Horsemen because
it was a nicely produced segment. It was fine. It was
well
effective.
Well
he ran it all down. I don't even know if I could give a segment a thumbs up. I'll go ahead and give this one a thumbs up.
Oh yeah, I would.
I think I'd still give it a thumbs up. I'm just mad about. I'm mad about the projection of it.
You're upset. Yeah,
I'm always upset. That's my problem. Yeah.
What else do they fucking do? Is the next match?
Oh. No, we're going to the next match, man.
No, so this is going to be the actual. It is a clusterfuck
fatal four-way.
It was a clusterfuck.
It's a fatal four-way match for the World Tag Team Championships, not the WWE, the World Tag Team Champions. The reigning champions Booker T and Robinson Van Dam. They defended their titles against the Dudley Boys, Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak and La
R.I.P.
Resistance.
Underrated, right?
In
Caden
yes.
Jindrak.
Let me just go to my notes here. I was never a fan of these as title matches because it's too crowded. It doesn't highlight the champion and challenger. And I
Not
felt
only
that
is
was
it
missing
too
here.
crowded, but the talent that's in here gets understated.
And exactly.
Oh,
and
man.
I feel the
Look at
rules
the
of the
talent
match
in there.
overshadow the teams involved. It was entertaining
Yeah.
for the most part because all these teams did really well together. I give it a thumbs in the middle. Like I said, Booker T and RVD retained their World Tag Team Championships, which were Raw at the time.
Yeah, I'm with
Thumbs
you.
in the middle. Dave, go ahead.
Thumbs in the
What the
middle.
fuck you
Okay.
doing?
I love Booker's Fire in the beginning entrance, but I hated that they mashed up their music.
I
I
didn't
feel
like that either. I didn't like that.
Can you dig it?
I feel like RVD could have been introduced and then Booker, and then the fire lights up, and that would have been better. Booker's Spinebuster is fantastic. You
Yes.
forget how good of a
Oh, it
Spinebuster
is.
that Booker
His
can
Spinebuster
lay
is
out.
amazing.
It was a great fast pace in the match given what they had to do. There's a lot of work on all sides. I gave it a thumbs up. I love Booker's scissor kick and then to the 5-star press from Rob Van Dam. I was entertained by it. I still give it a thumbs up, and you can lean it back a little, only because I think you could have had two great matches here with these two tag teams. And
I 100% agree with that statement.
yeah,
And also,
Yeah.
too, I forgot to say, like, honestly, like, I mean, we all know, Booker T and RVD and, how good they are. But the glue of this match was the Dudley Boys, without question. They're so good.
Yeah.
And, like,
They're
when I was
amazing.
watching them, especially Bubba, I'm like, God, man, like, they were so good. They had to be in this match. If a lesser team took their place in this match probably would have been a thumbs down for me.
it would have
But
flopped
no,
hard. Yeah.
I gave it a thumbs in the middle, not because I'm disrespecting these guys. It's just too crowded, and I hate title matches at Mania. Why? Like, why do this? Like, I don't know. I would rather.
Well,
just
why
straight
do
up-
why do a four-way fatal match? It should have just been the top number one contender against the champion.
I agree with that. So,
I'm with
Cuz,
you
what
on
did you think?
What you got, Cuz?
I give it a thumbs in the middle, and I think the only reason is because I was more into it just because of the names and the knowing that they're all talented, and that was it. I didn't feel like I was into the story of it. I felt like it was a little.
There was no
clunky.
story, right? Because like
Yeah,
that's true. There was
the
no
rules
story.
of the match overshadowed anything you could have done. Even though I did like the story they told in the match. They quarantined Booker T, pun intended, and they quarantined Booker T, and they all worked him over, and they were trying to beat the champion. So I did appreciate that to a certain extent. That's why I gave it a thumbs in the middle, because they tried to tell a story. But you're right, it's impossible to have a backstory like with this type of match, like
and
unless
that's the
they had
one thing that
all
drew me
four
in
teams continuously fuck with each other in the Raws and SmackDowns leading up to it, which they didn't. I just didn't like it. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the only reason I'm drawn into it is because of the names you see on paper. I'm like, oh yeah, and I look at that talent. Look at that the Dudleys still look the fucking same. By the way, they still look the same.
And Cade and Jindrak look great. And like
Cade,
they're
Our
the
Resistance was
worst team on that
fun.
roster.
They were like
They're
the
still good.
Rougeaus of the this generation.
They were great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love Love Resistance, and I
They
think
can work.
because after Rob Conway, actually, he was making waves with the NWA title before Nick Aldis and what's that Tim Storm guy? Obviously, in current time.
Yeah, James Storm.
I don't think he gets Tim Storm, the old guy,
sorry,
the
Tim Storm.
Yeah, the
Mama
older
Storm.
guy.
All right.
But
His mama.
yeah, his mama, Mama Storm. But yeah,
Mama
then
Storm.
rest in peace, Garrison Cade, baby.
Yeah.
42
Go back
years
and
old
check
when he
out
died.
that on YouTube when you get a chance. Those
So
are
the match didn't lose my interest at
You
all.
can't
It was
knock
entertaining.
it
It was
too much,
entertaining.
but, you know.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we cut to another back scene section. Coach is still looking for Taker. He doesn't find Taker, but what he does find is Mean
Coach,
Gene
hey.
Okerlund with Bobby Heenan with lipstick all over their faces and throats. And they're like, what's going on here? And Coach is like, I really want to know what's going on. I'm like, do you, Coach? I don't think you do. I think you should just walk away from this one.
This was a
Because-
cute little throwback or whatever, but it was so hard for me to listen to Bobby because he had his first of many throat surgeries here. It was before they had to remove his jaw, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So
he was struggling.
He talked like this, like because they removed most of his
Yeah,
throat
that
and
was
stuff
sad
from
already.
throat cancer. But his energy though was amazing, and
It was
we'll,
heated.
He did a great job.
we'll
Yeah,
get
I
into it
think
later
so.
because his movements are so genius, and like Bobby Heenan is something that will never be duplicated, and it's a
And
type
then
of talent
that's
that's
where
sorely missed.
that's where Moolah and May come out and
Oh,
drag them
yeah.
back into the closet when
May.
they
Hot
came
shit.
Or
Super hot.
For another round of loving.
Yeah.
More lipstick. We'll see what happens. Then we get into another cutaway with the love triangle between Chris Jericho, and Trish Stratus.
I didn't care for the storyline. I'm going to say it out loud.
You like this one?
Yeah,
I didn't care for the actual storyline building up, but I'm glad. We're going to talk about the match, and it paid off, but I did not like the build-up. I remember as a fan watching it going, God, like, why is this fucking happening? Like, I didn't like it at all, but I'm glad they
totally know where you're going. Yeah. So, with that, we get match number 3, Jericho versus Christian.
Ooh. So, Jericho
nothing.
and Christian in a regular match, 15 minutes and 3 seconds. This match was fucking excellent, and they were given plenty of time. Jericho looked great here, like physically, like he was in the best shape. Probably.
Could you argue this is one of Christian's greatest individual matches?
Oh, not at all. It definitely was. And then, great swerve at the end. I really enjoyed it because Trish is hot as a heel. I give this match a major thumbs up. This was a great match, and Jericho's second really good match in a row because the year before he took on Shawn Michaels at Mania 19. So Jericho really here was showing that he could work well. And I've always liked Christian, right? I don't think he's really gotten the praise he deserves.
I think he's underrated.
But Christian's right where he is. Well, yeah, I agree with that to a certain extent. I think he's right where he is. Right? Not everybody can be world title level or anything like that.
He's not going to be.
But Christian was great here, and I'm glad they gave him.
He could have been a fantastic IC.
Without speaking about where the storyline went afterwards, which it kind of fizzed out. I really didn't do much of anything. It just, again, like, you didn't see the slap coming. It did make sense. Like, it did make sense why Trish turned, so I was fine with it. I love the ending. I give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah. Thumbs up all day. I mean, there's one, for everything that Jess just said, but there's just one segment where Y2J goes over the top rope with, like, a backdrop, and I was like, that's just nuts. The work that he took and what Edge put him through. I'm sorry, what Christian put him through. See, they're the same. They're interchangeable. That's terrible.
Stop it.
Say that.
Christian dragging Trish by hair by head. That is absolutely uncalled for. That's a gutless maneuver by Christian, let me tell you. For a man to lay his hands on a woman is she had to think that was Christian. What the hell is... What? Wait a minute.
Here is your Christian.
I give it a thumbs up. Cuz, what do you give it?
I give it a thumbs up. Once again, just like Jess said, the story didn't really get me at the beginning, but the swerve at the end, the payoff,
and how good the match was.
And the match was good.
Was so good.
I was gonna say the match was really good. So yeah, I give it a thumbs up.
No doubt about it. I'm saying what happens sometimes. When Christian was there to capitalize. Here comes Christian. He's not through. What? You son of a bitch. They're trying to restrain Jericho. What? Good Lord, what the hell is... Did you see that? What the hell's going on here? What is going on? And I need some help with this. Look on her face.
Yeah. And then we roll to another interview. Oh my goodness. Miss Garcia is interviewing The Rock and Sock Connection.
I liked what they did here. The way The Rock went out through the curtain and said hi to the crowd and then came back or whatever. It's kind of cool.
He said, follow The Rock. And I'm like, oh my God. And he takes him to the floor and he said, no, get your ass back here. We're not ready to come out yet. And I'm like, The Rock at this point, Dwayne Johnson at this point, whatever you want to say, is in complete control.
Well, he had returned too. He had been gone for a while. He had already become Mr. Hollywood here. Yeah. So he was gone for a bit, and then he came back.
He was trimmed down because I think that's the way he thought he should go, and then now he's totally jacked, which is crazy.
Yeah,
he's huge.
You can see him dropping the weight. He's trying to get Hollywood at the time, whatever. But you can see him at this moment, which he was capable of doing before he left. I'm not trying to deny that. But he takes this interview and he completely controls the crowd. The MSG crowd, by the way, which is not the easiest thing to do in the world. He just says, watch The Rock come out here and tell you guys what to do. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he's got these guys pumped up for this match before it starts. He works it out. And then, and then The Rock and Sock Connection.
But yeah, and Foley stood there and totally, the only negative thing is I wish Foley talked more because the heat of the feud was with him and Orton. So I kind of wish that Foley had a
exactly.
little bit more to say, but I appreciated the fact that Foley sat back, and then when he said, and sock, like he was so excited to say it. Like he just was waiting to jump in. He's all,
Come right back. You come right back. You see, Mick Foley, it's our night. It's our night. Let's go out there and electrify as only you and The Rock can. Let's go out there, slap the lips off those Evolution sons of whoop their candy asses. If you smell what The Rock and Sock is cooking.
right? The month later, they had a pay-per-view match,
That's
Foley
the
and Orton,
Backlash
which was
match.
fantastic. Which was
Amazing
great.
match.
So,
Go back and watch that one.
So with that setup, we get to match number 4.
So this is the Rock and Sock connection, their reunion. Mick Foley and The Rock, the returning Rock, again, and technically the returning Foley too, against Evolution, the 3 members, Flair, Batista, Randy Orton, handicap match, 3-on-2,
match.
17 minutes. I love the creative direction of this match, especially with getting Orton and Batista over. I love that Triple H got the fuck out of the way here, and it was just Flair was just there. I wouldn't have minded if it was a tag match, like with Batista and Orton and Flair in their corner against whatever.
Yeah.
Technically, it should have been that, but I only like it because I'm going to talk about Flair and The Rock were fucking hilarious in that little spot.
They were.
Oh my God. That was worth having Flair in the match at that point. But overall, I hate to say this, I was underwhelmed by this match a little bit. Because it was the Rock and Sock connection. The Rock did get a big pop when he came out, of course, because he's The Rock. It was the Mania debut for Batista and Orton on top of that. And I give it a solid thumbs in the middle. I know that's a crime. But I remember when I watched this match live, I remember being underwhelmed, and I know it's wrong. The only reason why I also give it a because it's WrestleMania. It's not, if it was a Backlash or whatever, I probably would give this match a thumbs up. I would probably give it a thumbs up because it was fine for what it was. But for a WrestleMania, I expected I don't know what I expected. And I'm not suggesting I expected Foley to fall off something high.
Here's the hard part about it.
I just felt that it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what it was lacking. I don't know.
I'm gonna try to see if I can.
But I love the ending, by the way. I love that Orton hit him with the RKO and pinned him clean. I thought that was great.
Yes.
But at the same time,
you're on the right track.
I feel that just the match didn't click. If that makes any sense.
You're on the
Nobody
right track.
did anything wrong. Nobody did anything wrong.
No, they worked hard. They worked hard. Is what we'd say. So here's the deal. You have Randy Orton here. You have Batista. Even though Batista's not exactly young, this is the young talent. This is the young.
He was young for wrestling.
This is what is on the come ups. Foley, by all definitions of we understand of wrestling, is done. The Rock, for what everybody thinks is happening, is gone. So you build it up. You do what you got to do. You take it to WrestleMania, and you let these young kids get over. I still give it a thumbs. And they did, and I still give it a thumbs in the middle, just for that reason. Everything you're talking about, but I think the reason why you're struggling with it is God, it's the Rock and Sock. What's the issue? What's the problem? Not everybody understands that even at WrestleMania, you have to pass the torch a little bit, and I think that's kind of what's happening here. When you look, you go back to Batista and Orton on the stairs. They're babies, man. Look at what they look like now. Look at what Batista looks like now. Look at Orton. They definitely they've put their 20 years in. Quite frankly, we're getting close to that from this point. And they're not the same. It's time for them to pass the torch. And Orton's doing that now. And that's hard for us to say because we're watching these generations happen. But that's, in my opinion, what's happening here. And Flair could have been on the outside, causing trouble like a Harley Race would. That would have been great too. But Flair in the ring is always entertaining for me, and I love that. But I give it a solid thumbs middle, but I can't give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's not even close to a thumbs down. And
I'm with you.
There was fun points, but I wanted more than just fun out of this match. I wanted more than just the Rock and Flair segment. I don't know what was missing. I'm not a pro wrestler, right? I'm not trying to say I do better.
It's a passing of the torch, man, and it's not easy.
I think, this is what I've always felt about the match. I'm like, yeah, it's cool seeing Flair in there with all of them. And to me, I was actually kind of thinking man, we're so distracted. Hogan and Rock standing in the ring. That's cool seeing the Rock and Flair going at it too. Them trading blows in the corner. Flair giving him his chops and everything. And
good point.
Them, taunting each other back. But I feel because it was so heated with Orton and Foley, actually one thing I started thinking about too, I was what if it was reversed? What if Foley and Orton had their match before this match, it might have, made sense. But my whole thing is fair. Like the feuds continue. It makes sense why it would be a tag match. I just feel like when you do the handicap, when it's 3-on-2, I know it's a gimmick match, and so is tag team in a sense, but it makes it more gimmicky, and I don't take it as serious. Like, it would have been more serious if it was the two young bloods, the two actual guys that are evolving.
And Flair on the outside.
Flair versus Foley and Rock. It would have made it more, I guess, serious in a sense. Yeah. More on the line. That's and fair. You're, like you said, it also plays in with the passing of the torch. It would have been better. It would have been Flair letting the young lions go, Foley and Rock doing the honors, letting the two young guys, the futures
let Flair
of the
get
business.
Some heel work in to make it happen. Yeah. Sounds like thumbs in the middle all around.
Yes, thumbs in the middle.
All right.
On to the next.
Hall of Fame recap, ladies and gentlemen. Who was the main event of the Hall of Fame? Sergeant Slaughter?
It was Mr. Well, in my mind, it was Heenan. And he stole the show. I forgot Ventura got put in this year. So did Slaughter.
Yeah.
Valentine did. So
what's funny is that Ventura was announced last, which leads you to believe is like, I want to go in as the guy.
I think he was the last.
He was.
Well, it wasn't a broadcast though, by the way.
No.
Back for the first couple Hall of Fames, you had to buy the DVD disc set for WrestleMania, and you got the Hall of Fame for free with it. So I remember being super excited a couple months later when the DVD would come out. I get it because I wanted to see the Hall of Fame.
But on the recap, they announced Jesse last, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the next year, 2005, when Hogan got put in, they aired the last hour live on USA. But you had to pay for the DVD for WrestleMania to get the entire 3-hour Hall of Fame. And then after that, they started broadcasting a couple hours, and then now it's on the network, so they do the whole thing. Heenan's speech was awesome. He broke up and cried because he said, I wish Monsoon was here. Monsoon passed away in 1999.
That was sad.
So Heenan cried, and Heenan's speech stole the show. And much like Savage and Steamboat from Mania 3, where it was cool to steal the show after that with your IC title match or whatever, Heenan's speech made it cool to steal the show with your speech. And so every year, everybody after that was looking for what speech stole the show, what speech stole the show. So it was kind of cool. Heenan's speech was amazing here. And who else?
Look it up. Well, we're going to get into something that's not so good.
What?
It's just a simple Playboy bunny match.
Okay, so really quick, it was crap. 2 minutes 41 seconds. I put absolute trash.
I didn't even label it as a match. Was it an actual match?
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Thumbs down, absolute trash. Go ahead.
Well, then my numbers are way off here. So I gave it just a classic thumbs down, and the reason why I do that is, I hate to be that guy because there's even a women's title match that comes up later that, in my opinion, gets screwed because of stuff like this.
Of a gimmick.
Probably because of time, quite frankly, because at this point people.
What do you mean you're afraid to be that guy? Because that women are great athletes, and that there's been great women wrestlers, and you want to see a fucking good women's wrestling match?
I don't want to put down the women.
You're not a bad guy for that, Dave. And even though we live in today, we've been wrestling fans for fucking 30 years or pretty close, somewhere around that.
And those matches didn't keep us going back.
Give or take. It's bullshit because the talent was in here in the sense. And I'm not saying Tori Wilson ever tore the house down or Sable did or anything like that.
But they could work.
But I'm just saying that you made it like this. You drafted people like Stacy Keibler. And no offense against her. She came in, did her job. You're going to give her money and offer a Playboy.
Those ladies did everything that they were asked to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not shitting on them, but you look. Yeah. On the same fucking card, they have a women's world title match. And by the way, that had to be gimmicked too, because they don't want the women to go out there and fucking wrestle. It's ridiculous. So no, you're not that guy, because you're right to say this shit is garbage. And it's not because we're looking at it with 2021 eyes. It's because even back then, I knew as fans, we knew what Sensational Sherry meant. We knew what Medusa meant. We knew that there could be more women like that out there if you make an environment that encourages women to come in and be athletes, but they didn't fucking do that back here.
Total thumbs down for me. I get why people were
sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional at you, but I'm just saying, you're not that guy. You're fucking a sane person. You're sane and normal for thinking that this was bullshit.
Yeah, I'm so mad about it. I'm like, I had to watch this whole thing. Then we get on to, it could be match number 5 or number 6.
Oh, so this match sucked. I mean, whatever. It's a Cruiserweight Open, which is so fucking stupid. Chavo Guerrero was the Cruiserweight champion here. It's 11 minutes, 31 seconds. He comes down to the ring and basically sits. And so pretty much every contender of the cruiserweight had to wrestle in like an elimination match. They started out with 2 people. One person would get pinned. They all surrounded the ring. And then somebody else would pop in, blah, blah, blah. They didn't explain the order or anything like that of how they popped in.
The order was random in the back, draw straws.
Oh, of course.
But they knew who was supposed to go in next, but we didn't know.
So basically, yeah, it ended up at the very end. Well, let me read my notes. Similar to the tag match, the match rules itself overshadowed the title and the wrestlers. Made no sense to me. Billy Kidman appeared to be on the gas here. He was a little bit bloated, and by muscular bloated. Meaning like if I take roids, I think I'll be good.
And
like,
I'm gonna be like Hogan.
2 Manias in a row where Mysterio failed to win the Cruiserweight Championship. By the way, he didn't. He lost to Matt Hardy at WrestleMania 19, and he ended up losing here. Jamie Noble was criminally underrated.
Yes, I think somebody knows.
Kidman's shooting star press to the outside was fucking insane, and he almost killed himself. I give it a thumbs in the middle only because I know the talent involved here, but this match was it was sabatage because
the talent
was
wasted.
And the ending people was Mysterio and Chavo, which should have been the fucking cruiserweight title match to begin with. I don't know why they had to fucking bring these other assholes in here to do it. I give it a thumbs in the middle because I just cannot fucking give this talent a thumbs down.
I'll lay out the segments to you. So
yeah, please do.
The Ultimate Dragon goes over more, and then Dragon goes over more, and then Jamie Noble goes over the Dragon, and then Noble goes over Funaki.
What an honor for Jamie.
And then Noble over Nunzio, and then finally Billy Kidman goes over Noble, and then Mysterio goes over Kidman.
And I wanted to see more Kidman and Mysterio, by the way.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I was like, I wanted to keep going, but it didn't.
Mysterio goes over to Tajiri because due to outside interference, Ajo, who's like Tajiri's
well, because that's what you do with 2 of the best cruiserweights in the world, Rey Mysterio and Tajiri. You have outside bullshit like distract them.
And then I wrote Chavo steals it. He kind of steals the match. I hate this match. Yeah, Kidman.
Why did I give it a thumbs in the middle? Thumbs down. I'm changing my shit. Thumbs down. Fuck this match.
I still give it a thumbs middle.
The back locker room betrayed this talent. They shit on this talent for no reason. It's stupid.
So I'm going to tell you guys what we're going to do here. I'm going to tell you that there was a Goldberg Lesnar cutaway, which was better than the actual match.
Don't worry about that.
And then I'm gonna pop up Goldberg versus Lesnar.
Okay, are we on that match right now?
We're Stone Cold tries to save it.
The next match is Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg with Steve Austin as special referee. 13 minutes and 43 seconds. So here we go.
Wait. We got to all calm down. I'm going to walk away from this while you do this. I'm just going to tell you the cutaway is better than the match. Stone Cold tries to save it because he's Stone Cold. That's why he gets put into this match. We all know this. There's so many questions or issues because they're both on their way out. Total thumbs down. And the internet does not help here. This is the dawn of the internet where you start to hear a lot of spoilers. Yep. And this is why they got booed out of the building, and it was a total failure.
Here's in my notes. My notes was obviously a disaster because the crowd was smarter than the WWE thought they were. They did not understand the power of the internet here. And you got to think back in 2004, it was in its infancy, the internet and the reach of it. WWE was in denial for a while how strong the internet crowd was. They got a taste of it here. This is the first time I'll ever remember a crowd hijacking a WrestleMania match. This was pretty fucking crazy here.
They didn't appreciate any of the fact that, we had both worked our asses off to make it to the point where we could provide a good match. So at least we thought. But nobody cared. They just wanted to yell and boo and
where the crowd actually became like an entity in this match, like a manager in the corner almost. Like, it became like that. Can we acknowledge, though, let me just stop this for a second, that Goldberg was blown up after the lockup. And then also, can we really talk about, I will say this before we get into the negative shit. Goldberg picked Lesnar up from a fucking cold press, like nothing.
Yep.
I know that Lesnar had to help him. I get that. But to hold him up there and for Goldberg to walk around and drop him into a goddamn spine buster, like that was awesome. Like that, I was like, oh my God, I forgot that happened. And when I watched it, I was like, ah, like I popped in my living room, like by myself. I was like, dude, Jesus Christ. Like from a standing position, he walks up, picks Goldberg up into a standing press and then fucking drops him. Instead of most people drop him over the shoulder and do a power slam, he dropped him the other way and spine busted him. Like, that was insane. Brock Lesnar's 320 pounds.
Yeah,
like, that's fucking crazy. Like, Goldberg was freakishly strong. Take the crowd out of it, though. I'm going to go the other way. If you take the crowd out of it, this match was booked exactly the way it should have been if the crowd bought into it. If you put a cheering crowd in there that would go back and forth and cheer, this match was booked the way it was supposed to be booked. But because the WWE downplayed the internet
because
strength,
of the internet, yeah.
Well, they downplayed it, but how would they know? Let's be honest. How would they know?
Yeah,
I'm gonna side with WWE.
You can
here
defend that. You can defend
how the
that.
fuck would
they
they
didn't
know?
They didn't know what the internet was going to be in 2004.
And this was the first. Now we expect crowds to take over. They didn't. Who, especially the 20,000 people in that arena. Which you got to think about it. Now you know that only hardcores, by the way, travel to WrestleMania. Especially if you're not going to have an 80,000 seat arena and you have only a 20,000, you're going to get all hardcores that are going to buy.
Because they're going to buy it.
People from Europe, people from Japan, everybody coming in from all over the world that are hardcore fans paying high dollar to travel.
We're just talking about all those overseas fans saying, I came here from Dublin.
So this was the first year that WWE got a glimpse of, oh my God, the hardcores are going to overtake it. They overtook this match. So listen, I gave this match a thumbs down because of the fact that the final product was a disaster. But you have to really look at it from the other side of it. This was the first year. Vince didn't know that the crowd was going to respond like this. They were going to fucking shit on both guys. But
he thanked them in the next segment.
If you really go back and look at it, and I have a note on that too. If you really go back and look at it, if you turn the sound down and you watch it, it is booked just like a Goldberg or versus Lesnar. I would say it's booked more like a Goldberg match than Lesnar, because Lesnar's super talented. Lesnar could do whatever. We saw his match with Kurt Angle the year before, and it tore the house down. So it was booked exactly the way a Goldberg match should be, and it was also booked the way a bull versus a bull match should be. So I'm actually going to be nicer on it, even though I'm giving it a thumbs down. I'm going to be nicer on it than the way history remembers it, because the crowd hijacked it. They did not see that coming.
Thumbs down. I mean, this is a perfect example where with the Christian and Jericho, I wasn't into the buildup of the story. The match itself and the ending got me into it. This, I mean, you're into just the idea of Lesnar versus Goldberg. You're into that idea already.
Yeah.
The
and promo. Austin as special referee. Okay.
Austin did, I saved it. What?
But
he needed to save it. That was the point. Yeah.
Huh?
But I mean, God damn it, man. Because after you knew that they were leaving, there was no payoff for it. Versus if Vince McMahon was some genius, like, you guys are gonna go away for like 10 years. And then you're going to come back. And then you're going to have this amazing match. And I'll be like, it paid off. It's fucking genius.
That's what I did. I'm glad you said that.
But it didn't have a payoff, back then. So, yeah.
It was just like, just get the money out of him for WrestleMania. Get the
thumbs down. Stone Cold got a bigger pop than The Rock. And, that's
whoa. That's probably true.
So Vince comes out afterwards. Ironically, he comes out after this fucking shit fuck match. And he's literally thanks everybody. Comes out. He's not Mr. McMahon. He's Vince McMahon. Thank you so much for making WWF WrestleMania what it is today. Thank you so much for making it where it all begins again. And I put the notes here Vince addresses the crowd. Even when he's thanking me, he's still yelling at me. That's the way I felt. He's always thank you very much. Like at the end or whatever. I was like, Jesus, he's fucking yelling at me right now.
Okay.
Very much.
Match number 7 or 8, if you count the lady match. We have another.
So the second Fatal 4 tag match, and let me shit all over this. It's the world's greatest tag team versus the APA versus the Basham Brothers versus Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty, who are the defending SmackDown or WWE World Tag Team Champions. Fatal 4-way for the WWE Tag Team Championships. 6 minutes, 8 seconds. Why even have 2 Fatal 4-way matches for both tag team titles if none of the titles were going to change hands? So, both the champions retained. It makes no sense. So if you're going to have this match where, Fatal 4-way, not even the champions have to get pinned. If you're going to do that, why have both champions defend successfully?
So why do you give one a thumbs middle and then the other a thumbs down?
Because this match was worse. This match was just simply worse. Jesse Ventura came out and interviewed Donald Trump. I just put Donald Trump wham. Let's go to the next segment. It's the women's world. No, because I don't want to talk about it because it's too.
Well, it's not the same as what we're talking about today. It's
even though Donald Trump, goddamn, I forgot that he was at that many WrestleManias for the record.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I know
he was
obviously
at
he was
least
at 4
5, right?
Obviously, he was at 4 and 5, but he was in the front row at Mania
4 and
7.
5.
4 and 5, and
Yeah,
he was here. Yeah,
And then
exactly.
obviously he was in the haircut match later.
Yes.
After
There you
this
go.
with,
So
whatever.
that's at least 5 or 6. then.
I forgot that he was
5
at this
Manias.
WrestleMania altogether. I totally
Yeah.
forgot. So when Ventura
he
came
beat
out, he's
Hogan.
like, "Wham!"
Jess
with
is
his
trying to get campaign funds for him to run for president.
He beat
Ventura with
Hogan.
Ventura with this awfully dyed black hair. By the way,
yeah,
that comes
his
out
beard
here.
was totally dyed, bro.
So when he first
so
started
visible.
walking down, like it was starting to come back to me, and then when he came out, he's like, "Wham! Donald Trump, wham!" in the front row, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like fucking Donald Trump's here,
Out of
and I was like,
nowhere.
"I totally forgot about this."
Yeah,
Totally
hey,
forgot
did
about
you
it.
see how young Donald Jr. was in the next?
Jesus, yeah.
He was
Well, I
baby
didn't even
face.
like notice that. I didn't even notice that.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
if you
pointed
go
him
back,
out.
you
He's
almost
with
don't
my
recognize
son.
him.
He's
so
all
young.
gaga.
He's on
Well, he
there.
was like
young.
almost he was like a teenager with his
Gaga
girlfriend.
daddy.
Yeah, he
cousin.
was. Yeah. Yeah,
it
there's
was
another
weird.
chick with
And
him.
it was hilarious. It was also hilarious too. I know I'm the one that wanted yada yada past the segment. Now I'm talking about it more.
No, you're good. You're good.
It was
But then we-
hilarious that Ventura was the one talking about running for president, and we all know who ended up becoming president of that duo. It's so weird. Where he's like, "Donald, do you support me?" He's like, "I do support you," and I was like, "How
100%.
crazy is that? Like,
Yeah.
how fucking crazy is that?"
This next match makes me really mad, just because
Yes.
and we're gonna go
it
back
should
to
make you mad.
the Playboy Bunny match. I give also the Molly Holly versus Victoria match a thumbs down, but not for the
This was
reason that you
horrible.
think. Because here's the problem: where Molly Holly volunteers herself, because it's a volunteer
she's
to
great,
get her
though.
head shaved. Amazing, and the work is amazing, but they don't give them enough time. And I say, I think the Playboy match went longer than this match.
No, it did
This
not.
is
No, it
the
didn't.
women's. Huh?
It did not, but
It was
I understand.
shorter.
The Playboy match was like 2 minutes,
Like 2
and 40
minutes.
seconds.
Yeah.
How long was this match though?
6 minutes and
7
49
minutes.
seconds.
That's not
Oh, yeah.
long enough to get this build
It's not, though. It's not for a woman's
no,
champion.
you are
then
right.
The
So let me-
finish.
well, let me
the
do-
finish
let
was
me
like
do
a
a prop.
horrible roll up, which
Let me do
was
it. Let me do
very-
it proper here. Victoria
Yeah,
was the
thumbs
reigning
down.
women's champion here, and
Yes.
she took on Molly Holly was the challenger. Here's my notes: Molly Holly was a heel and Victoria was a face. What the fuck are we doing here? Victoria needs to be a heel. Molly Holly is
Yeah.
not a heel. I don't care what anybody says.
Backslide by Victoria. Wait a minute. The winner of this bout. You know what this means, don't you, JR? Women's champion, Victoria. I know. Holy haircut, Batman. Hey, that was good. Look at Molly. I don't think she can believe this. That just came out of nowhere. Molly was a
I know that people say you're best when you could do both, and that's fine. Molly Holly didn't need to. Both are
That's
super
fair.
talented. The crowd just wasn't into it. They were fatigued at this point. With only 2 women matches on the card, one was an evening gown match and the other was a haircut match.
Yeah.
Why gimmick both the women matches? It's stupid. I give it a thumbs in the middle because I want to use our classist phrase because they worked hard and everything.
Angle and Guerrero, we have a cutaway with Paul Heyman, which is, in my opinion, just perfect, genius. So we get that cutaway where even Guerrero's like, with both hands behind my back, Holmes, I'll beat you. And then, this is just one part of that cutaway. Once he gets his hands behind his back and he's beating up Heyman takes off. Angle comes in and pummels him. And they take that back and forth, and they bring a great match into WrestleMania.
So
with the
okay,
storyline
well
built.
let's calm everybody down right
And
now.
before we get into the match, after that cutaway, like I said, they cut back to Molly and Victoria, and
That's
Victoria
right,
is
yeah.
still shaving her head through that cutaway.
Dude,
and,
this
and
girl's hair.
literally, basically, Molly Holly's hair at that point is all but gone. Her hair is completely shaven off. So go ahead,
Yes. So everybody needs to calm down right now.
you calm down.
Let me just say, I will.
I'm wearing this shirt.
I
You
will.
calm down.
The
on!
build
Got it
up
behind
for
you,
Angle and
bud.
Guerrero was fantastic.
Yes.
So the next match is for the WWE Championship. The defending champion Edward Guerrero takes on Curtis Angle. 21 minutes, 36 seconds. I'm just gonna read my notes because I don't want to talk about Eddie anymore.
You're
My
gonna
goodness,
cry.
this match was really good in the non-traditional WrestleMania way. And I mean that as the biggest compliment I can give.
That's fair.
The ending was super creative and did not hurt either guy, but the right man won. I miss Eddie. Thumbs up.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. I don't want to talk anymore about it.
I literally wrote Angle versus Eddie, thumbs up, and that was it. But what I'll say, and because I'm gonna try to give you the wheel on this, but I love the finish where Eddie continues to lie, cheat, and steal his way. to a title defense here, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you can paint the picture for us on that, but I think it's great. And I'm the biggest.
I don't know, and I'm guessing on this real quick. I'm guessing that when they found out they weren't the main event, they were like, no problem, we have the perfect ending, because this ending was designed to not be a main event match, if that makes any sense.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
This finish was not a main event for us.
It's you got me.
And I don't mean that to be bad at all. I mean that it played completely into the character of Eddie. It was perfect. Yep. And
Angle
I
falls
believe
into the greatest trap.
I'm just guessing. I'm literally just guessing. I believe that when they found out they weren't the main event, they were like, well, we have the perfect finish. It's no problem.
But wait a minute! The boot went flying! His boot came off! Look at this! Small package! 1, 2! No! Eddie wins! Eddie wins! But wait a minute! Wins! But Eddie wins! But she cheated! But wait a minute! There's nothing wrong with Eddie's ankle! He outsmarted Kurt Angle, did Eddie! Eddie Guerrero loosened the boot, knowing Kurt would go for the ankle lock again! Eddie!
No problem. Like, it's perfect. This match was perfect. Like, it wasn't perfect, and it was the greatest WrestleMania match I've ever seen. It wasn't perfect, even in the sense that it's the best Eddie or Kurt Angle match I've ever seen.
You can argue it's the perfect match at WrestleMania, given where it was.
Yeah, given this spot, this match spoke as loud as it needed to speak, and the right person won, and it was perfect, and I loved it, and I miss Eddie.
I'm still wearing my shirt. Still have it to this day.
Cuz, what do you think?
I mean, God damn it, man. Eddie Guerrero, the only person in my eyes that's allowed to lie, cheat, and steal and win the big one, versus Kurt Angle. God damn it, man! The match was so good. It started off slow. It did.
They all do,
but
right?
I loved it.
That's how you know the ending's gonna be hot as shit. By the way, when it starts out slow.
Fucking great match. In my, sometimes I get like, man, I wish they would just do straight up like no, not that it was gimmicky at the end. It played, like you said, an Eddie Guerrero's character. But sometimes I wish, especially when it's like these two caliber athletes going at it, and you're going to see a straight up great technical wrestling match, hard-hitting wrestling match. Sometimes I wish they would leave that stuff out, but it was fucking perfect. It was creative. Playing on the hurt ankle from the angle locks. God damn it, that fucking 5-star frog splash, by the way, that Angle kicked out of that thing was fucking beautiful. And to me, I was like, I know false finishes were already happening at this point, but that still got the crowd to like actually genuinely react like they thought it was over, even though they know and they've seen false finishes already.
There's a lot.
They fucking do
going
such
on
a great job.
Yeah,
because there's so much going on in there.
Everybody thought at certain moments in time where Guerrero missed the frog, Angle's going to win it. When they put him in a move or something, Angle's going to win it. There were so many points where they thought that basically Guerrero was going to hand it off. He's not going to hold it for very long. When Eddie would kick out, or when he would get out of the the ankle lock, people were losing their mind. They're like, "There's no way he's going to win it."
But my favorite was Angle's reaction when he pulled the boot off. For a second, he thought I ripped his foot off. Like, and then he realized, oh shit! You saw his face, and Eddie got the quick win, and it was awesome. Like, it was incredible.
There's another quick segment to that's really interesting because, and by the way, Cole and Taz play this perfectly, don't they?
Oh, they do great.
They when Guerrero starts to unlace his boot to try to get relief, right? They're like, he can't do that because if he does, it's going to swell up. He's not going to be able to walk. Yeah. I mean, Angle has totally destroyed, Eddie Guerrero's ankle. And then Angle gets thrown out of the ring and looks at Eddie unlacing his boot. And Eddie literally looks at him and goes, oh, shit. You can see him go, oh, shit. He sees my weakness, which is what he wants him to see.
Yeah.
And Angle just goes red eye and goes bull right for the ankle again, gets the boot thrown off, and then he rolls him into the small package. And by the way, uses the ropes to pin him. Kurt Angle.
Fucking awesome.
And it's great. And Kurt Angle gets so mad. He has the boot in his hand through the whole thing, throws the boot at Eddie at the end of the match, and Eddie literally goes, thanks, and picks it up and takes it back to the dressing room with him. Total thumbs up. None of that's in my notes, but it's so good. It's in my head. I remember all of that. It's just, it's absolutely
it's a thumbs up. And that fucking spinning DDT when Angle tried to pull off the Angle slam on Eddie and he reversed into spinning DDT. That was fucking great too. That was beautiful. Yeah, I give it a thumbs up.
There's so many.
I mean, I don't think it's a question.
Yeah, there's no question. It's not even.
Hurry up and go to the next one so I can fucking shit all over this.
Whoa, Undertaker and Kane gets the cutaway here where Kane, gets that betrayal going. Mad about Kane, where he's just a regular guy. Like he became one of you, so I had to bury him alive.
So, and real quick, going back to Survivor Series of 03, he buried the Biker Taker. They had a buried alive match, and he buried the Biker Taker. So then the whole thing before this match was like Undertaker's coming back, but he's probably going to come back as a dead man.
Tons of signs of return here.
Yeah. So this was the return of the Undertaker as a dead man gimmick, and Kane the whole time before was like, "That's not true. He won't be at Mania. I buried him. I killed him. I buried you. I watched you die." Like and all that stuff. So that was the whole gimmick coming in.
So
the next match is Undertaker returning as the dead man versus Kane, 7 minutes 47 seconds. Taker's entrance was great.
Yes.
Paul Bearer waddling down to the end of the ring. I'm sorry,
so
rest in
big,
peace.
yeah.
Rest in peace. He told me to suck his cock though. So he came down and he
You
holds
will
up the
still
urn
suck it.
and he goes, "Oh yes, it's rich too." And he held the urn up or whatever, and the crowd
That's what he
popped. It
said.
was awesome. All the druids coming down. Taker came down, and then
That was great.
the lights came up and he looked stupid because he took his
Why?
fucking thing off.
Oh, 'cause
And
his hair wasn't long yet?
costume, his costume was,
Yeah,
I don't really want to return back to the dead guy, but you're making me. So it was, he was
still gonna
dressed,
have a tan.
he was dressed in the biker gimmick shit. He didn't look anything like traditional Taker. His hair wasn't long. It was like past his ears. Like he looked like shit. I'm sorry. Like
He
he
did.
looked like
No, he did.
shit. I remember when
He
I
just wanted
watched
to
this
wear a
originally, I'm
wig?
like, God damn it. Like, you know, apparently
He was trying to grow it
Imagine.
out.
I know that, but at the same time, like in November, they
What
just
does
said,
that have to do with the match, though?
well, I'll get to that. So
All right,
he looked
let's get to
stupid.
it.
The match was fucking trash. The match was trash.
It was.
The match was trash, and I'm gonna say
I
it like
told you.
like all of their matches were. All of their matches were trash. The WrestleMania 14 match was trash.
That was horrible. It was better
You know,
than
Why
this
are
one.
you so mad at two big
Because
men going at
here's
it?
the deal.
Jeff?
Undertaker would prove it after this. Well, I can't say after this always, because the next year he took on Orton in a great match. The
Yes.
year after he suffered with
Star.
Mark Henry in a shitty fucking casket match. But after WrestleMania 22, then they took the streak super serious, and every year he had an amazing match that pretty much stole the show. So I respect the Undertaker as a worker, but let me be honest here. Every Kane versus Taker match was trash. Every
Kane was wrong, JR. He's not dead.
My God, what an experience sitting here in the garden at WrestleMania 20 and just experiencing the arrival, the return of the dead man. And Kane is obviously beside himself. This is not what Kane wanted to see.
No, the dead man lives. He lived, JR.
Every one of
Unforgiven
them.
Inferno match. That was horrible.
Is this-
The Inferno match was trash. Every match was trash. Everyone fondly remembers it because the lightning came from the ceiling and his arm caught on fire. Every match with the Taker and Kane was trash.
You can't deny the
You know what?
pre-match entertainment.
No,
but then
shut
Close out the
eventually,
show.
Shut
that
up.
bell.
We're not
No,
gonna talk about
shut
the
up. The only memorable things that we remember are the bad parts. Think about this. Well,
That's true.
except for Kane's debut when he ripped off the cage
Yes,
and came in there in
yeah.
bad blood, that was awesome. But that wasn't a match. That was their scenes. That was the lightning coming down was memorable
Okay.
because it was lightning coming down from the ceiling.
If you
Kane's
watched it
arm
from
on
the
fire
get-
from the Inferno match was memorable because his arm got lit on fire.
Yes.
But the match was
Yes.
garbage.
Just by bumping into the fire.
If
Every-
all I'm saying is we can trash the match all day long, but were you not entertained?
Oh, and I was not entertained at all. I liked his entrance, and after that, I was bored as shit. I was
Yeah,
bored
the
as shit.
entrance was more-
Every move.
That's what I was trying to say.
killed
You won't let me finish. Like when Kane came down and did his work and has his revolving eyeball and sets the freaking corners on fire, and
Whatever.
then Taker comes down with the Druids, which by the way, that fire was dripping, and I think they almost got caught on fire a few
Yeah,
times.
that
were fire
music could have
extinguishers
ended
on
bad.
standby.
That could have ended bad.
Yeah, that could have been really bad.
And then-
all of that was incredibly entertaining.
I
even though
just
like
said
the
that.
bell had to ring. Thumbs down it all day long, but
Yes.
you gotta give the work.
Thumbs
the
down. But
No,
and then
what are you
even
talking
that-
about? No, the work was crap. The work was crap, Dave.
was.
That's the problem. The
you
match
not see
work
the-
was crap.
What about that botch where Kane was gonna back body drop Taker and Taker like had to grab the ropes?
He almost killed himself on the ropes.
Taker almost didn't know what he was gonna do either. Like
they suck.
Thumbs down for all.
O.W.P. 2019.
How about this title match cutaway?
The match was
and
trash.
how about the fact that it seems that Triple H got into somebody's ear once again and said, "Well, Benoit can't beat me one-on-one, so let's bring in the Heartbreak Kid into this storyline."
I will disagree with you later, but go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, it just feels that way. I understand what you're saying. The guy can't carry a promo to save his life. I understand that. Get him a mouthpiece like everybody else, like you've done in the past.
Paul Heyman. There you go.
Paul Heyman all day long would have been fine.
Actually, that would have been great.
May I set the stage properly, please?
Yeah. So you
the
get
main
the
event
match cut away, but then you get a main event. Go ahead.
The main event of WrestleMania 20 was Triple H defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Shawn Michaels and John Doe. 24 minutes, 47 seconds. I put my comments were this match was
John
awesome.
Doe wins the title.
I put my comments were this match was awesome. All three wrestlers clicked. Triple H tapped, which was important. Both Shawn Michaels and Triple H did their job and put John Doe over. The match is thumbs up. Listen, I totally understand what you're saying. I could totally see why not just have a one-on-one match with John Doe versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. I get that. I get why you're saying that. Right. I get why you're saying that. However, the fact that Triple H ended up tapping and in the fashion he did, that ending of that match, I'm telling you, I was on the edge of my seat watching it a couple days ago for research, just like I was. It was really
we watched that together, and we were all thinking
Triple H's heel work.
Because
I thought John Doe was going to
we thought they were going to screw John Doe out of it.
Yes, I thought. Well, no, I didn't think it was going to be screwed out of it. I thought that John Doe was going to beat Michaels, and then Triple H could be like, "You never beat me," and do the whole thing.
We thought that too.
Lost.
We thought one, he wouldn't be able to win because they would double team and whatever, or we thought that he wouldn't pin Triple H.
Yes,
we were talking about that the day of the match. Like,
so when they finally did that thing, that last spot where John Doe backed Shawn Michaels over the top rope. And Shawn Michaels backdropped oddly over it, like he went over like crotch first.
Yeah, that was
weird.
Brutal.
Yeah, I think Shawn Michaels was like, "Oh shit," and had to adjust. And then he got Triple H in the cripple across face again, and like Triple H kept acting. They do it all the time now. But this is the first time that he did the false. He kept acting like he was going to, but he didn't, and he did it a bunch of times. Then he rolled out, and then John Doe pulled him back in the middle of the ring.
Benoit.
Whoopsie daisy. Ben Doe pulled him back in the middle of the ring and did the whole thing, and then he kept doing the false taps like that, like he was going to. They do that all the time now. They didn't do that before at this point. Triple H kind of started doing that whole, and I remember going, "Just tap." We were screaming in Dave's living room, just fucking tap, just tap. And then we're like, he's not going to tap. It's too much. It's too much time. Michael's going to get back in the ring.
Well, we saw Michaels in the back. Maybe he would pass out.
You saw Michaels in the back kind of barely try to get up, and then the tap happened, and fucking the place exploded. Like, and I think it was a combination of finally John Doe got his due, but at the same time, it was also the fact that Triple H fucking tapped, and people were tired of Triple H as World Heavyweight Champion back here, by the way. People were just fucking tired. The same crowd that called out Goldberg and Lesnar for their bullshit, like, was fucking happy finally. And then, of course, the moment at the end where John Doe celebrated with Eddie Guerrero was a moment, because it justified me as a fan. I loved, like, Chris Benoit when I first saw him, like, on the national stage. And I saw him in WCW in the early 90s. And then when I tape traded, I saw him in New Japan. And I loved this guy because he looked like
Dynamite Kid. Those guys worked all over the world together.
Well, he acted like the Dynamite Kid, and I loved his style of wrestling. I love that snug style of wrestling. And Benoit was just the unsung hero of WCW. And, they shit on him, and they didn't want to push him to the main event level. And then he left for that reason. So, he left, and he had to fight hard in that system, and WWE system, for like 3 years, to kind of fucking finally make his way. Then he finally gets his main event spot. And there was a fucking thought that they're going to rip him off.
The winner of this bout and new World Heavyweight Champion, Chris Benoit.
There's Shawn Michaels and Triple H in that ring with him.
When it was the day of, we all thought that was going to happen.
So when it didn't happen, and Guerrero came in Vince McMahon, of all people, paid tribute to their relationship and their past. I love both of them in WCW. They both deserve more in WCW, and every fan thought that had a brain in their head.
Question.
And so I think that was just amazing. The fact that you finally saw that on a WWE stage at WrestleMania, the 20th anniversary, was pretty amazing. We all know what happened with John Doe. We all know it's not okay to mention him. Even the WWE Network, they just put some guy takes on Triple H. You know what I mean? Like they have the whole thing, or they
and that's all gone now. By the way,
Yeah.
You watch it now, everything's back to where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so
they never took out the intro, so that would be
yeah,
funny
it's just, you know, it's like
the intro.
Right, yeah, they put a blur on his face the entire match. Like it's just it's so crazy like what happened, but like this moment though was so awesome. Like confetti's falling, Eddie with the WWE Championship, Guerrero with the World Heavyweight Championship, both guys that were too small, would never make it in American wrestling, aren't big enough to compete with the big boys. They don't have the charisma, which Benoit arguably never did. But Eddie Guerrero did through and through.
Eddie did.
You know, this was it.
It was a great match, and I was actually surprised that Benoit wasn't
stupid
bleeding.
white boots.
Yeah, I actually I was saying that too. I was like, if he wore black boots, I mean, it just maybe the match wouldn't have been that great. But you know what? I don't like the white boots. But Shawn Michaels and Triple H were the only ones that fucking bled like, you know, stuck pigs there.
Yeah, right.
I'm surprised Benoit didn't. I'm surprised Benoit wasn't the only one fucking bleeding.
There was a lot of blood.
Dude, there was a puddle of blood from Shawn Michaels. And there was a point where you saw Shawn Michaels pointing at Triple H. You saw the blood. You saw spots landing on his arm. I was like, oh my God, that's fucking ridiculous.
I have a weird theory on this. If you take away, I would say 3 to 4 key moments / matches in this WrestleMania, it could be on your Washington Monument of top 4. Obviously, the Playboy match, you extend the women's title match to show their true talent. You take away those fatal 4-ways that didn't make sense. Maybe a few other items. Maybe that's too much to say. But I feel like minor adjustments could put this in your top 4.
This was a very good Mania, top 10
it was very
for
good.
sure.
Yeah. Thumbs up, right?
And it followed Mania 19, which we talked about. Rival 17 is the greatest of all time, really. Like, and to follow it, but it was totally different. When you go back the year before, it was Angle and Lesnar. Lesnar here this year on his way out. Angle, came back from surgery.
This is ruthless aggression kind of dying out.
Hogan's gone. Rock and Austin are gone for the most part. Even though Rock was on this card, he wasn't a part of their storyline. Austin was gone. Even though he was a special guest referee, he was gone. Like, so it was just sort of like this Mania in a weird way was hitting the reset button, and Vince was going with lighter guys, smaller guys. And this was a great WrestleMania. It really was, like, from beginning to end. Even the thumbs down matches or whatever, you can get past them because the matches, to see John Cena's rise in the beginning, to see the great match of Eddie Guerrero and Angle was awesome. And this match was so good. Like the main event match was really, really good. So people who are listening to it, really good. Go and watch this match. There's no reason. It's one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time, I think, like this match.
Whatever.
Dave, end the shit. I'm getting upset.
I'm
doing
Take us out, man.
Getting upset at Taker.
Don't get mad. Yeah, don't
worth
bury him again. Hit us up on Instagram at O.W.P 2019. Click on Linktree. You can find us on several platforms, including Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast. And anything we talk about is inspired by the WWE Network. So do Cuz a favor, because he gets paid on that. Get your free month today of WCW, WWE, ECW, and more. This is Dave, Jess, and Cuz, the OG3, with the O.W.P. signing off. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, Craig.
Love you,
This world is wrong to be. Just stay the fuck away. yourself suppressed and your own cognitive function eliminated. Conversation, our chips were growing and awakening because of your own weak and fragility. Such a ran it as well, only swallow you whole and victimize you. To those who wish to defeat and all that's true.